Hello, creative friends. There is a fun process that I've been wanting to try. It's to make some collage paper that's really textured that I'm going to use in projects. So I thought we could do it together. Just going to need watercolors, some thin paper. I'm using copier paper, but you could probably try other papers too. Maybe tissue paper would work for this. I'm going to do a spray bottle, and I just have some paintbrushes. So very, very easy. And you can use whatever watercolors you have for this project. It doesn't matter. I lost this palette. It was crazy for like a week. So I'm happy that it's back. I did cleaning up, and this is what happens sometimes when I clean up my art space. I lose things. I'm like, ooh, I'll remember. No, you won't. You crazy person. Okay. So I'm just going to kind of warm them up a bit. I should have put more water in this, but this should work. And I have a big container of water. I also have this, which I might try. Maybe the edges here. I'm just curious. This is just brown paper. Let's see if we can spruce some of these pieces up a bit. But there we go. And what we're going to do is we're just going to crumble up the paper. So we can start maybe with this. Just going to give it a crumble like that. And you can cut this down, into a smaller piece, but you're just going to take it and crumble it up. You can even open it and crumble it again. You can even put a little bit of water if you want. Maybe we'll try water on the other one, but you want a fairly tight ball. And this is really fun to do with your kids. Just take it, give it a crumble. Like that. Oh, really tight. And let's uncrumble. Crumble it back. Alrighty. Just gonna keep working here. I just have a few more sheets. Maybe we'll do one that I don't crumble 2 times so you can see kind of the difference. And you can even do like smaller pieces if you want. But we really wanted to get nice and crumbled. And I do want a wet one too and see how that looks. So let's reopen this up. Tight ball, like that. This one I'm going to wet just a little bit. Let's see. I like to kind of experiment and see. But it's going to give all these beautiful folds for the watercolor to go. And I just love like paper that's crumbled in general. So it's so much fun to use on projects. It adds really cool texture. So that's kind of what we're going to do. I'm just going to grab a flat brush. Feel free to use whatever kind of brush you want. I have some water here. And over here, I'm going to bring it just a little bit closer. Okay, and then we're just going to go in with some color and start applying it. I'm just going to be a little bit random. Maybe I'll do some warm, some cool colors. If you had metallics, that'd be really cool too. And I am using watercolor, but you could absolutely use acrylics. I've done that before too. This is such a fun process to do with your kids, so I hope that you'll do it with your kids. And you're just brushing over the color. Just going to move through. I'll add some red in some places too. And you don't want the paper like soaking, sopping wet, so you want a fairly dry brush. But do you. Whatever feels good is fine. Good, but the colors kind of mix together. I just love this. This is so much fun. And you're just going to add the colors. I'll add a little bit here. I'm neglecting the brown paper. And then you're just going to let it dry fully. So pretty easy. Let's get some praise going on here. Maybe we'll add some of the green. We are just adding so much gorgeous texture, which I love. Let's add some orange here, maybe. You can kind of let the colors mix together a bit. Just have fun. Fill it up. I am going to put you guys in fast forward while I continue to work. I mean, I know how much you guys love hearing me blabber. Probably not. So, so maybe I won't have you do that since I gave you guys kind of a blabber fest last week. So I'm just going to keep working. We'll wait for these to dry. You'll see it, but it'll be fast forwarded. And then we'll come back and see what we have. Okay, guys, so I want to see if we can add a little bit of gold. So I have this acrylic paint. It's a little bit thick, so I'm just going to reach in here and kind of spread some out. And I mean, you could do this probably after it's dried. That might be a better idea. But I'm just going to kind of rub it in and let's see if we can make this a little bit sparkly. If you don't want to use your fingers, of course you can use a brush. And I mean, you can be a little bit more careful if you want about making sure that you just get the edges of the folds, but I think it'll be so pretty, like even if it's not, the whole thing. So I'm not worried about that. And if you wanted to, you could let this dry and re-crumble it again and kind of see, but I'm just kind of experimenting and I think this is going to be so pretty. So I'm just adding a little bit of gold. You could add some glitter. I have some this glitter kind of glue too, so we could add some of that. Let's give it a little bit of pizzazz, a little sparkly. And I'm just concentrating on the folds and just being a little bit random about where I'm sticking it. Kind of wherever it goes is where I'm going to put it. And this little guy is the last little bit, so just have a little bit in there. Do some more. It's kind of thick. It's about to be completely gone. I'm going to have to try to get as much out as I can. But I'm just going over and it's catching kind of the folds. If you have taken my abstract landscaping class, you know that I love to do this with gold. I love when gold kind of captures the texture of things, especially like the edges of paper. It's so pretty, so I love it. Or even my mixed media canvas class, I think I talk about it in there too, but yeah. So it's amazing how you'll be doing something and you can apply it to so many different things that's why it's so important to just take time to create art. Like there's no substitute for it because you just learn so many things, right? When you take time to do it and see how things work and how you like things. So there's just no substitution for actually taking time to do it. And I'm telling myself that too, right? Because I definitely always have hundreds of projects going on, it feels like. So I need to make time to just do things, that I want to do as an artist too. So that looks awesome. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to open these up. Okay, so I'm going to let them dry, even though it's really hard and I'm so excited. It's going to be so great. I just have a baby wipe here. I'm just going to, a dried up one. But I love using these for projects too. We'll have to do I'll show you some ways that you can use these in an upcoming video. There we go. So we're going to let that dry completely and I'm going to come back and unravel and we'll see how it turns out. Okay. And as you can see, I use acrylic paint and it will work great too. So you don't have to use watercolor too. I'll probably try acrylic paint too, but awesome. Okay, I'll be back. I'll stop talking now. Alrighty, it's time to do the reveal. So let's unwrap and see what we have. And if you want to, you can rewrap and add more color. I can see that I didn't get this one very good with color, but that is totally fine. Let's see this guy. So you can keep adding layers and keep crumbling and adding, but it's so pretty. This is beautiful. Let's try this guy. I think I will do maybe another layer. Oh, but look at the back. Ooh, nice. Let's try this one. So you can really add a ton of color. Just like that. And I kind of like that it has kind of these like spots of color because I will definitely use that. Let's try the brown paper. And I love the addition of the gold. So there we just have bits of gold and stuff like that. So I think I'm going to do like another round with these, but I do want to show you, I did another technique too, where I actually painted the color, let that dry, and then I crumbled it up, and then I applied the gold with the paintbrush too. I'm going to make a quick short for that so you can see this version too. But I think that they're all really good. I mean, this has a lot more like color and texture, but I really like these too, especially like these little areas there. So pretty. But I think I'm going to crumble again and let's add some more color. And maybe this is like not a quick project, you know? Maybe you have to do it a couple times and that's okay. We're going to keep going, and I think I'm going to be a little bit more aggressive with adding the color. But I think that helps when you kind of, oops, when you kind of crumble it and then go back in with more color. I'm going to try to kind of stay away from the ones that have color. And I don't want every bit of it color, you know, covered with color. I kind of want a little bit of a variety. There we go. I am very attracted to this beautiful purple, so I'm going to try my best not to just make everything purple. Okay, let's get another color. Maybe we'll do some yellow. And I'm just taking the tip of my brush. So there's many ways that you can do this process. So I hope that you'll try multiple ways, and I am really loving the results of this. So it's fun. And your hands get a little messy, which I love projects like that. You kind of let loose and just play. Very nice. Okay, let's add maybe some blue too. And it's okay, you can kind of get it in there and really kind of go in there. But on this channel, we kind of try and figure things out together. I definitely have not figured out everything when it comes to art, and I kind of have these ideas and then I try things. So I want to be very authentic about my experiments and the things that I try too. That way you don't feel, you know, like, oh my gosh, I'm not getting the same results as her. I think there's kind of a tendency with that, that we can see people create and we just think that they have it all figured out. And that is sometimes, a lot of the time, I think, not the case, you know, unless they practice it. But I like the community that we have here. I like that we kind of figure things out together. Okay. Alrighty, and I'm just going to go for it. Let's kind of uncrumble this and see. I'm going to be very gentle. Oh yeah, so that has a lot more color. And I think that's kind of what I'm going for. So every little bit doesn't necessarily have to be covered. And the great thing about this is that we can even go in and just apply color too. So that will kind of just get that texture going. So we can take colors and just apply even more colors on those crumpled edges. Kind of to just balance things off, and you can go back in with that beautiful gold. So, I mean, this is just a really fun technique, right? So, yeah, it's great. I love it. And you get this really beautiful textured paper used in so many projects, especially in mixed media. So I'm very happy that we tried this. Let's go in and add a few more blues and things like that. I'm going to go in with a little bit of gold because I can't help myself. Do this, and I'm just going to go in, and I just kind of use the side of the brush and just brush it around. I'm just trying to capture the texture here. Yeah, so you can go in after you do the initial crumble even and just add color that way too. So really, this is a pretty versatile project. I'm absolutely loving it. So let's open this up. I think this one has a lot more color now. But like, I don't mind that. Like, I think that would be so pretty. Like if you cut out that little piece and it just had the white texture, because maybe you could put like your focal point there. I'm just thinking of like an art journal page, and you have the texture, but then you have that pop of color. So I'm not going to do this process with all of them. Some of them I'm just going to leave just like this. And I really love how they look. So sometimes I don't want a ton of color on my projects. I want to kind of be able to add color or be a little bit more subtle. As I've grown as an artist, I do love color, but I think that it's really nice when it's kind of, when you just have kind of pops of color too. Definitely feel like a little bit, I'm all over the place sometimes with my art. I love both. I love really bold, colorful marks and lots of texture. And then I also love, well, I always love texture, but but I also love kind of subtler colors too that kind of are pushed back. But I love this. This is really fun. And if you wanted to, you could just take the gold and do that to create some texture too. So I hope I gave you tons of ideas. This was so much fun. And I am definitely going to use these for a bunch of projects. This is the one that we did where we painted the whole thing. You'll see it in a short, which I will link below. And it has beautiful texture too. And you're just going to wait for these to dry. Make sure you let them dry. And yeah, they're so much fun. It was a really fun process. And if you do this, please tag me on Instagram so I can share your amazing work. I love to share your work. It's one of my favorite things ever. So I would love to see how your crumply watercolor collage papers turns out. And I will see you guys next time. Let me know if you have any questions. Leave me a comment below, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.